Alright, metalheads! Welcome to another episode of Metal Verbalizers podcast. Do you like that stoner sludge type of doom metal? In that case, I have the perfect band for you. This is Problem with Dragons. The band started back in 2007 in Massachusetts, US. Fun fact that the band told us about was that the band actually booked their first show before they actually had practiced the songs. At this show they played 4 songs. The name of the band came from one of the members that had read the phrase somewhere. Fortunately, that vibed with the music that he was writing at the point, and then it became the name of the band. Unfortunately, he could not remember really where he had read it. That would have been interesting to know. But I guess that some mysteries are better to be untold. I don't know. Some of the band's influences are G-Ward, Killing Joke, Kiss, Megadeth, Slayer, Soundgarden, and many, many more. It is not surprising that we have a wide variety of influences since the genre of the band is extremely hard to specify. It is a lot of doom, sludge, punk, stoner, and heavy metal in one sound. And the sound of the band does not fit perfectly in any of these genres. It is really a mix of them all. And then the band has made it into their own type of a thing. The band has been compared with a variety of bands also, like Deftones, Bad Brains, Mastodon, Celtic Frost, and more. The band might not agree completely with these comparisons, and I don't think that I do either. It is a little bit like with the genres. They have more of their own thing going, and you might find things in songs that makes you think of Mastodon, for example. But then that thing is mixed with stuff that might sound like it is coming from a completely different band. Just looking at the vocals, we have many different types of vocals in each song. We got everything: high-pitched falsettos, clean vocals, harmonizing, distorted, and even close to growl in the vocals. That is just the vocals. They are then backed up by hard-hitting drums and massive fuzzy and distorted guitars, and a bass that is also gritty and distorted. Something that I have noticed as well is that their music isn't as hook-driven as many of the other bands that I have been verbalizing. I think that in the case of Problem with Dragons, the message of the songs is more important rather than having a catchy hook. The lyrics that they write is based around science fiction and ancient aliens mixed with current political themes. So far we have been talking more about the band, so I think that it is time to have a look at the actual music that has been released by the band. They debuted in 2012 with an EP called Atomics. It has 5 tracks, and among them you will find songs like Wanting, Space Jewel, and Toast. As a start for the band, it is a great one in my opinion. Continuing down the line, we have reached 2015, where the next was released. This time, an album called Starquake, containing of 8 songs. Here at this point we can see that the band is starting to find what we can consider their own sound. We will still hear the big variety of vocals supported by the big riffing guitars and hard-hitting drums, etc. Something cool that they have done is that they have released a part 2 of their song Atomics on this album. This is something that I really like when bands do, because that sort of build a connection between the albums. On this album you will find other songs like Starquake, Sideways, and Ground Zero. In 2019, the next release saw the light of day. This one is called Ascendant and has 10 songs for us to rock out to, And in this album, you will find other songs like Moon Ritual, Too Terrified, and Implant, and many, many more. A year later, in 2020, they released a single called Agenda 21. You would think that this one was released to tease for an upcoming album, but as far as I understand, in this case, this song is going to be standing by itself, actually. Something that they have included in this song is something that I think you would call throat singing, which is a type of singing used in choirs. And I think that it is a perfect fit for this kind of music to really get yourself in the right mood for the songs. Even better, this song is actually over 6 minutes long, almost 6.5 minutes. The year is 2022 and a new single was released. This one is called Live by the Sword. This single is actually not going to be standing by its own, because there was actually an album released the same year featuring this single. This one is called Accelerationist. Also an album with 10 tracks, and I can't put my finger on exactly what it is, but this album feels like a level up for the band. In my opinion, this album contains some of the best that the band has put out all time. In this album, you'll find songs like In the Name of His Shadows, A Demon Possessed, Have Mercy, Show Mercy, and more. Now we have gone through all of the band's current releases, and it is time for my own little concept that I like to call Erik's Top 5. This is a list to give you an idea of where you could start when listening to Problem with Dragons. So let's go. Number 1, Failures from Atomics. Number 2, Wizard Mode from Starquake. Number 3, Agenda 21, which is a single. Number 4, Don't Fail Me from Accelerationist. Number 5, 6,000 Spears from Accelerationist. This was my list. Now I would like to know about your list. Which songs would you put on the list? Would it be the same songs or would it be a completely different list? Hit us up on our socials and tell us about your own lists. The plan for the future is not too surprising. They plan to release even more music and play more live shows, and hopefully even go on a tour. They are actually going to play a show at the Progression Brewing Company in Springfield at the end of December. There they are going to play together with Lich King and Power Up. So if you are near the show, I would suggest you head down and see them. I guess that this kind of a genre is kind of a niche. It is not as commercial, maybe, like genres like AOR, power metal, or more classic heavy metal. But that is something that I personally have a huge respect for. When bands play the music that they really enjoy, and don't just play music that the people want at the time. With that said, I absolutely don't say that you are commercial just because you play a certain genre. I think that you should play the music that you vibe with, no matter what people think. With that said, I think it is time to wrap it up. Does this band sound like one that you might like? You like that stoner sludge and grungy type of doom metal with some sprinkles of punky vibes? Then this is a band that you should check out right now after this episode. If you live near their upcoming show, you should absolutely go and see them live. Live is always the way to go when it comes to music. And if you do enjoy this band, don't forget to follow them on their social media. This is the easiest and cheapest way to support them. Also, this way you will get updates on what the band is up to next. And if you like what we are doing here on Metal Verbalizers podcast, bringing you new great bands to listen to, don't forget to give us a follow as well. This way you will get updates on what band we are going to verbalize next. Also, sometimes we are talking to the bands and have them tell us stories from their tours or interview them. This is something that you do not want to miss out on. And also, you can always message us on our social media and give us tips on what bands we are going to verbalize next. maybe you choose the next band. On that note, thanks for listening. You've been listening to Metal Verbalizers podcast, Verbalizing Problem with Dragons.